So today I'm working on my 1968 C10 dash project, and for the radio, where the radio sits, there's going to be, you have to build a box for that, and for the AC and heat controls there's also going to be a box for that. And since I don't feel like building another one, I'm just going to use the one off my previous dash. So we're going to cut that out, and then I'm going to make a plate for the radio, and then weld it in, and hopefully get all that installed today. So here's my dash that come out of my truck. It's already a custom dash. I just was not very happy with it. It had some somebody put some Bondo on here and it had broken off. Not this much, I just broke it off myself, but it had some Bondo or some kind of putty already broken off of it, and I didn't like that, and I overall just didn't like the shape of the dash itself. So I'll take and cut out from here, just basically cut a big square out, and then I'll take and trim it off these pieces here. That way I can just reuse them and don't have to make new ones. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going to take this flat disc and I'm going to square off these edges and round them off so they're not sharp and jagged and ugly. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So there's one piece pretty much done, and I'm going to go ahead and do the other one off camera, and I'm not going to record it because that'd be pretty boring. So this is my dash bar. It sits in my truck like this. Here is going to be where the radio goes, and here will be where my heat and air controls go, and then the rest of this is going to be blank. The only thing that this whole dash is going to have on it is going to be the radio, the air controls, AC vents here, and then AC vents out towards the end over here whenever I get to that point. Now my local suppliers are actually out of 1.5 inch DOM 0.095 wall tubing, which is what I'm using here. So I can't do that part for about another 2 weeks whenever they get it in. So to make this plate that's going to go here and cover everything, we're going to go ahead and take some cardboard and then lay it under this, trace it out, cut it out, make sure it does fit properly, and then go ahead and cut it out of some metal. Take 2, just the same. Hold this Sharpie at a 45-degree angle. I'm going to trace all this. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and attempt to cut this out. Once again, about 1/8 inch bigger than I actually marked. Pretty good. Just about perfect, actually. Now, when I actually trace this out onto metal, I'm just going to straighten the lines, use a straight edge and everything, and then make sure these are nice and round so that it ends up fitting perfectly. So I've got my piece of scrap metal here. I'm going to just line up my edges. I'm using the flat edge for this straight surface, obviously. So now I'm just going to trace this out. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece out. Got a 4.5 inch cut wheel on here. So now we're going to go ahead and take a flat disc and round these edges off and clean it up. Alright, so now that I've got this plate cut out, I got my welder hooked up. This little welding setup I made here, just out of a cheap old dolly that I had. But I'll show you the plate that I made, and we're going to go ahead and weld it up. So here's the plate. As you can see, it fits pretty good. So once we weld it up, it should fit absolutely perfect. But I've got my welder set on. I want to probably weld this on around 17 volts or so, and I'm using point 030 wire, 75-25 gas, and I've got my little flow meter set to 25. So let's get welding. Alright guys, so here it is after I've welded it. Not the prettiest looking beads by all means, but I was thinking about I might grind these off anyway, so I wasn't too worried about it. Kinda want that real clean, slick look. But there's no warpage in it, so I'm pretty happy with that. That's all I was worried about mostly. But so far it's turning out pretty good. Alright guys, I finally got that all grounded down. You can see I filled these in as well and then grounded them down. Nice and smooth. Looks pretty good so far. Now the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and cut out the bezel for the radio. So this here will go here. And then this is the heat and air controls, and they will go here. So that might give you a little bit of an idea. I'm also going to have right here and right here will be my air vents, and then once I build these pieces I'm going to have an air vent there and an air vent there. So there's not going to be any gauges here. No speedometer, no tachometer, nothing. It's just going to be simple. It's going to be clean. And the only thing that's going to be on the actual dash will be the air vents, stereo, and the air controls. And then I'm going to build a center console, which will be below this, fit into this shape here. And all my gauges will be right there, along with my light switches, my windshield switch, windshield wiper switch, my key switch, and everything else.